Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Jay Empson from Ultralife Corporation.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Welcome, everyone, to the Technical Assistance Seminar, round four. Tatiana is going to be our fabulous host this round. For those that may not know Tatiana yet, but might know me from previous technical assistance rounds, Tatiana is our new program manager who's handling the technical assistance program as well as outreach for Battery Academy and a lot of our reporting for the Economic Development Administration. So welcome, Tatiana. I'll hand it over to you and we can kick it off.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Alrighty, so I think everybody's trickling in, so I'll go ahead and get started. I hope everybody's having a great morning, a great Tuesday. So, okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the New Energy New York Technical Assistance Program information session for round four. I'm looking forward to walking you through everything you'll need to know to submit a strong application. And this should be around 25 minutes, and then we'll have some time for the service providers to pull up their slides and talk a little bit about the services that they offer. So just a quick look at the agenda and what we will be covering today. We'll start with an introduction to New Energy New York and the Technical Assistance Program, and then we'll walk through eligibility requirements, application components, and key dates, the post-award process, and finally some other New Energy New York opportunities that you should know about. And we'll save a little bit of time at the end, hopefully, for a quick Q&A, but we will be sharing a registration link for our information sessions where you can book time with me to go over any questions that you might have about your application specifically. So, New Energy New York. New Energy New York is a federally and state-supported coalition focused on advancing battery and energy storage technology and innovation across the entire value chain. That means we're working across research, development, prototyping, testing, manufacturing, and commercialization in this program, specifically pilot level commercialization. So this initiative brings together a variety of different coalition members to essentially build a robust battery and energy storage ecosystem here in New York State. And the Technical Assistance Program is one of New Energy New York's flagship initiatives. The goal is pretty straightforward. It's to accelerate development and scale up for regional battery and energy storage companies in New York State. And we do this by providing the technical assistance funding that connects companies such as yours with shared use prototyping, testing, and certification facilities. Think of it as essentially removing one of the biggest barriers that early stage and growth companies face, access to expensive specialized equipment and services that you may not be able to access with your own funding. And so our network includes facilities here at BU, RIT, and other labs in the region. So let's talk about funding. There are two tiers depending on your company size. Startups can receive up to $75,000, and small to mid-sized companies can receive up to $100,000. And this funding covers the cost of utilizing shared prototyping, testing, and pilot level certification services and facilities here in New York State. This is not a grant that you will get and use it to, for example, bring your product to market as in like developing your product. It's more so developing your product through R&D and testing it and whatnot, and specifically for engaging with some of our service providers in the region to advance your technology. And we'll talk a little bit more about what qualifies in a moment. So let's get into eligibility. Um, First and foremost, your company must be developing battery or energy storage technologies, and we define that pretty broadly. So technologies across the entire supply chain, value chain are eligible. And whether you're working on cell chemistry, battery management, recycling materials, grid scale storage, you should be in scope. But again, I highly recommend that if you're interested in applying, you will sign up for the information session for the one-on-one sessions to discuss with me any questions that you might have about your eligibility. And second, your company must have a physical location in New York State. That can be your primary headquarters, manufacturing facility, research development facility in New York State. And you can qualify as well if you're a member of a business incubator located in New York State as well. Oh, sorry. Okay, so a few more eligibility items. You need a unique entity identifier through sam.gov or a DUNS number. And if you don't have one yet, I encourage you start looking into that process now, as that can be pretty timely. Your company must have no more than 500 total employees in New York State. You also need to identify and engage with a participating facility or service provider before you submit your application. And so this is pretty important. You can't apply without a service provider in mind. And we strongly encourage you looking towards New York State service providers. And finally, you'll need to select your company application track, whether that be track A or track B. So there are two tracks. Track A is for startups. These are companies with less than $2 million in funding from non-governmental sources that have been in business for fewer than 5 years at a time of the application deadline. And Track A applicants can receive up to $75,000. And Track B is for small to medium-sized companies, those with no more than 500 employees in the state and less than 5 million in revenue attributable to the subject production or technology in the previous fiscal year. So Track B applicants can receive up to $100,000. And take a careful look at these definitions. Make sure that you're applying under the correct track. And if you're unsure, please feel free to bring those questions to office hours. And so up here on the top right, I'll give you a moment to scan if you're interested. This is a link to our supply chain database. And so we'll talk a little bit about service provider qualifications. We accept New Energy New York approved facilities and service providers, which include prototyping, testing, facilities at colleges or universities, and other laboratory facilities, as well as for-profit testing, certification service providers, and other R&D facilities operating on a fee for service basis. And if you're not sure who to work with, as I said, feel free to scan this QR code, take a look at the supply chain database, and also our New Energy New York technical assistance website. We have some videos on there highlighting some of our service providers that we've worked with in the past. So now we'll talk about award eligibility. To cover the costs associated with services for development of battery and energy storage technologies at qualifying facilities, which include but are not limited to lab and commercial scale prototyping, testing services, certification services, pilot scale, non-commercial contract manufacturing services. So what's not eligible is manufacturing services for sale and commercial. So you should have around 6 months to utilize the award. And this time, this is very important, we are not doing any extensions. So for round 4, the project must be complete before before December 1st, 2026, but also preferably a month before that for invoicing certain purposes, because after December 1st, 2026, we will no longer be able to fund this project. And so make sure that when you are essentially going through and estimating the time for your project, that you are taking that into account. So it should end before December 1st, 2026. Eligible applicants can apply for a single award per round. We are anticipating that this will be the final round, so please keep that in mind. So now we'll talk about what you'll need to submit and some application components. First, you'll complete the company information, application questions. You'll also need a letter from your facility or service provider that details the project scope of work and timelines. We will provide a template for this. You'll need a quote from the service provider with estimated service costs and the proposal narrative. This is a core component of your application. It includes sections on executive summary, company overview, technology commercialization potential, and the proposed project itself. And again, we'll have a template provided within the application. And finally, you'll submit a proposal budget using our template. And my advice is to start this as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last week. Definitely start working on it now. And as I said, register for one of those sessions where we can go through any questions that you might have. So let's talk a little bit about match requirements. Match requirements vary based on your company size, measured by full-time employees. If you have 1 to 5 employees, no match is required, but applicant must provide evidence of leveraged resources. So for example, staff time, equipment, etc. If you have between 6 and 20, we require a minimum 10% cash total project cost. So for example, for $100,000 total project, the award will provide around $90,000, or for $100,000 award, a support the award will support a project of around 111,000 total. So requiring an $11,000 match from the applicant. For between 21 and 50, minimum of 25% cash match, and then 51 to 500, we will be requiring a minimum 50% cash match. So here are key dates for the application. Obviously today we're having the webinar. Office hours will be between March 30th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then also there will be times on Wednesday, April 1st between 3 and 4 p.m. Then we will have application verification meetings, and these are between April 6th to April 9th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And finally, submission deadline Friday, April 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Late applications will not be accepted. And anticipated awards will be spring 2026. Emily, do you want to add something?
Yes, I just wanted to chime in and say, as Tatiana mentioned, we have these application verification meetings that you can attend, in which Tatiana will look at your application and make sure it is complete. She will not be providing any information on how good the project is or how likely you are to get funded. It will just be, did you do everything that we asked you to do in the application? That we have a checklist for, but we just want to make sure that everybody is doing that. That being said, if you do not attend the office hours and you do not complete your application prior to the verification meetings, you cannot have a verification meeting. So essentially, we've put together an entire RFP that you can read through with all of this information in it. And then we're also doing a webinar to essentially tell you all the information in the RFP. And then we're offering office hours to discuss any of the information in the RFP. So if you do not take those steps, you can then not attend an application verification review meeting. So please understand that there are quite a few steps prior to that and a lot of information that we are delivering to you today that you can just read in the RFP. So please take that into consideration before booking those meetings and make sure that you have met all of those other requirements prior to making an appointment with Tatiana for that.
Thank you, Emily. All right, so next we're going to talk about post-award process. So if you're selected for an award, this is essentially what happens next. You'll have a kickoff meeting with me and your service providers, and we'll execute a contract that includes your timeline, scope of work, and milestones. As you work through the project, your service providers will invoice you directly, and then you submit those invoices to me via our Airtable, indicating which milestones have been met and what match has been spent. From there, we go ahead and we pay that invoice. There will be a midterm progress report and a meeting with me to check in on how things are going. And at the end of the project, you'll submit a final report, which is very similar to your midterm progress report. It just includes a lot more information on what was successful on the project. It's a pretty straightforward process, and the program management team will be there to support you along the way. And so here are our other New Energy New York opportunities. I will be sharing these links as well afterwards with the recording. And so if you're interested in any, I would also like to plug particularly Battery Academy. If you're interested in any training resources for your company, Battery Academy is an amazing resource, and happy to talk about that as well offline. And finally, that's our overview of the Technical Assistance Program for Round 4. For more information, visit the New Energy New York website at neny.org. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me, but particularly, please register for some of our Q&A sessions that we have. And with that, we are going to move over into our service provider information portion. So give me 1 second while we pivot here.
So good morning, and my name is Hui Duai from the Lexis. the Logistics Center for Campus Energy Storage, and the center is directed by the Professor Stan Winham, and the center main focus on how to understand how the key network reaction occur and how they can be controlled to improve the performance and from the atomic level to the macroscope level. And so presently we are the partner about Battery Hundred Consortium and aiming to overcome the very fundamental science to extract the maximum capacity in electrical material and also develop the very good cell next generation can deliver the almost double present market value up to 500 watt per kilogram. Can be enough for 1,000 charge discharge cycles. So for Lexis has equipped a lot of different advanced facilities for R&D and cell manufacturing or cell testing things. Especially we have the dry room and the polycell facility on in our lab. So which special designed to the open user facility to help the researchers from the academia or the industry kind of state-of-art lab environment for their battery research development, manufacturing testing things. So we can do some collaboration on some research project, or we also provide the service to help you to design, fabricate, or collaboration your cells and add innovation or the your technology development things. We guarantee we already have many different users come to our place for the cell making, coating, or our testing and even some collaboration work. So we are confident we can provide high quality coin cells, even prototype polycell fabrication, and which can be produced in the industry level environment and standard. So mostly for the service provider, we work through the daily pay rate, about 1,500 per day, and or half day rate like that. We also welcome you to connect us for some collaboration or the proposal writing for the founding application things. So in the following, I will introduce you what kind of facility we have, and maybe you can reach us for some collaboration or the cell fabrication things. So for R&D work, we have different type of facilities, not all included here. So mostly for lab R&D, we have the for concept studies, we have the I didn't include all the sample synthesis for instrument in a lab, just like the furnace or the microwave or even some other high temperature oven things. Here we have the XRD for the lab XRD for the normal phase check and also glove box and also all the equipment included for the concept fabrication things and also even some summer studies. So we also special design some small polycell as I shown here. We can do some operando XRD with this small design polycell and the special design SEM holders. And because we are working on the summer study mainly for service for our better hand project to understand how stable about cell, because safety is also main concern for the battery except the performance. So we as shown two main machines we use now. One is called the this kind of calorimeter, mainly work for the coin cell modules. So we can check about how about heat release when the coin cell was during charge discharge at different conditions or different temperature, different rate. Or we can also do the temperature scan. Another thing is that some new instrument maybe we got 1 or 2 years ago, and this come from the T instrument, and it's combined with good with the biologic cycler. So that's shown here are two different type of lifters, and the one is console, other one is some lifter with for the polycells, small size polycells. So all this one can also do very good operando test on the cell. Some studies to check how about the cell were running during cells. And this one, actually, I think recently we have some collaboration project with T instrument to develop the new lifters. That one they modified this lifter can provide the pressure control to the cell, and also they can help us to even monitor the pressure changes when the cell was running. Not only the heat signal but also the pressure signal. How about the pressure change when the polycell was running there? So it's very helpful for some R&Ds. And for the cell manufacturing, we have the dry room was roughly about 600 square feet, which is designed for 4-person capacities. And normally the condition, the relative humidity can be less than 0.5%. So the driver was equipped the full power cell assembly as total. We have about 13 pieces equipment as shown here as this flow chart. So we start from powder and through the mixing, coating, kindering, all the procedure to follow power cell things. So this needs all the facility we have. So we have 2 slurry mixing machines. Each one has 6-liter volumes. So all the they are planetary mixing with high speed dispersions. This one we have 2 of this one, and this allows to go up to about 4. I think batch can be about 3 to 4 kilograms slurry mixing things. Also, we have with the reverse coma coating machine to do this. The coating width maximum can go up to about 200 millimeter, and the maximum speed about 3.5. We have 2 drying zone up to 150 degrees Celsius. And the candle machine can do 0 to 2 candle with maximum pressure can be go up to 140 bar and maximum heating can be 150. Besides that one has a punching machine for the cell punching and also the power cell zigzagging, stacking, welding, all the things there. And the present power cell, our power cell design like this one, the cell size roughly for the capacitor about 83 times 98 millimeter. So this one is after the top seal and the cell seal. So this the fellow cell looks like that. So presently based on this one, I think we have committed to make the single power cell and up to 12 or maybe even 15 ampere hours. So besides that one, we also have a lot of hundreds of cellos for the cell testing. And so as shown here, we have around 250 circular cellos for coin cell. The current can go up to 1 ampere. And besides that one, we have more than 200 circular cellos for power cell test. And the current max current can go up to 12 amperes. And we also have about 30 biologic ES cellos if you are interested on the impedance measurement. And besides that one, we also have 4 temperature control chambers as shown here, 3 small one like this pack. And also recently we got a huge one like shown this one. So this one, all these tester chambers can provide us one is accurate temperature control when the cell was running, and also this can provide the safety control for the cell, especially when you go to the high capacity, just about 1 ampere hours per cell test. It's better to test inside the chamber to avoid some safety issue happen. So I think for the 4 temperature control chambers, 3 of them was being created with is a safety suppression functions, just like for the especially the new one. We have the gas detection, also even the auto gas extinguisher there. So it's for the safety console. It's very good. So if you are interested to do some calibration or the service from us on the cell calibration or the testing fabrication, please contact us. This is my contact information. This figure shows our location about the lab. So we are located in the corner about on the campus, and we are located in the Central Action building. As this is our campus map. We are in this corner, and this is our building. So if you drive to this, our physical address about 45 Murray Hill Road, and if you drive to this area, you are clearly see from the logo outside the building. Called the I'm standing with him lab. So it's easy to find that one. So if you have more interest, you can either contact me by email or scan this QR code to go to our website and to learn more information. Thank you and welcome to contact me for your research or the product development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wei. I appreciate that. Alrighty, so now we're going to move on to Ron from Cornell Nanoscale Facility.
Hi, so I'm Ron Olson. I'm the director of operations at the Cornell Nanoscale Facility, and it's kind of unique facility, and we have a lot of equipment that I'll go through briefly and high level, just to give you an overview of CNF and all the nano, micro, advanced packaging applications and tools that we have. So CNF's a world-class user facility, and so it's an open user facility, right? So people come from all over the world and all over the country to use our facility. Projects range from anywhere from blue sky research all the way through product development, prototyping, and we work with a lot of small companies and large companies, enabling this lab to fab transition that everyone's so focused on. And we have been a part of the NNCI, which is the National Nanotechnology Coordinated Image Structure, and we're also looking forward to the next NNCI. Judy Cha is our director, and she's a professor of material science. And Allison Godwin is the associate director, and she's an expert in education and outreach. But she's also a professor of chemical and biomolecular engineering in Cornell Engineering. So one of the things that we always like to talk about is our staff. That's probably one of the most important assets that you'll have in any user facility. Our staff has over 600 years of experience, and they're very skilled at helping users and guiding users through these complex processes that will be needed. There's over 600 years of experience, like I mentioned earlier. We have 25 total employees, and their specific goal is to really help the users maintain the tools, instruct people on how to use the tools, and it's really a user-focused culture. So please, engage the staff also in remote projects that they could do the work for you as well. So it's really easy to become a user. It's a very simple process. We've developed this very effective, streamlined entry process, and in most cases, it can take about 2 weeks from initial contact on. We just start a conversation with our user program managers just to make sure that the project or what you want to do in the clean room is feasible, and we have the equipment, and it meets all of our material requirements. And there's additional information on our website to start a new project, which is just down here. Just click on that, and I'll walk you through the whole process. A couple forms to fill out, and again, you can be in here within 2 weeks, starting a project. So we're primarily, like I mentioned too, we're a hands-off facility, but there's other ways to do work in our clean room. Again, you guys can also engage the CNF staff to do remote projects, and we also have independent contractors that will do work as well. This is our clean room. It's 17,000 square foot clean room, class 1000. I just went through all the tools. We have over 200 tools now. So over 180 is good. Fabrication and characterization tools. We can do anything from like pieces all the way up to 200 millimeter wafers. Even in some cases, we do 300 millimeter wafers. We just updated our clean room virtual tour. There's some information in there for red tags and green tags, which will give you more information on the equipment. CNF's well known for its advanced photolithography suite, and that's anchored by our e-beam lithography tools. We have 2 Joule e-beam tools and deep UV stepper from ASML, in-house mask making capabilities, and maskless photolithography as well. We also have a very comprehensive set of equipment. Provides start to finish device fabrication, or part of your device, or part of the battery, whatever materials you're looking at as well. But this also includes like simulation software and back-end processing capabilities, so like advanced packaging type of things, as well as testing. And so we can provide a wide range of materials in our fab without cross-contamination because of all the different tools that we have. And I already mentioned that we could do many, many different types of sizes of wafers, from pieces up to 200 millimeters. So through the Microelectronics Commons Funds, through Nortech, CNF was able to kind of upgrade a lot of its equipment and bring in more modern instruments specifically to support quantum. And I know this doesn't have too much to do with batteries, but some of the materials could. Heterointegration and advanced packaging, as well as 200 millimeter wafer capability. Kind of the cool things, one of the things that are unique to a university setting is the Plasmatherm MDS 100, which is a plasma dicing system, which is pretty cool. And then we also have this temporary bond debond system, and it provides like mechanical support for other devices or thin wafers as well. So a couple other tools just for general processing, oxide etchers, and we just installed our this custom made electroplating system for indium and SAC 305. We have a 200 millimeter sim that can handle 200 millimeter wafers, a pretty cool Keyence digital microscope that could do in situ process characterization, and then grinding, as well as CMP going forward. And CNF also, just to bring this up, we also support a broad range of workforce development activities, everything from K through gray. We reach over 9,000 individuals every year. This includes like even working with Micron on chip camps, RU programs. We have co-op programs and internships as well. So we also partner with local BOCES programs and community colleges. So we also just kicked off, which actually has been going very well, VR education program where you can bring, this effort is really to bring people into the clean room and give them this virtual experience without going inside of a clean room. You can actually put these VR headsets on out in the middle of a cornfield and be in a clean room. So pretty cool. That's all I have. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ron.
Okay.
Alrighty. Now we are going to move over to our last presenter, Daniel from Custom Electronics.
Custom Electronics Incorporated is a New York-based technology company with more than 60 years of experience in advanced electronics manufacturing. Globally known for high-voltage mica capacitors and assemblies, CEI also supports innovation in batteries and energy storage. From early cell design and chemistry development to full system integration. Next slide, please. CEI's engineering team works closely with companies to develop custom battery solutions tailored to their applications. They have designed and built cells and battery systems for both U.S. defense programs and commercial ventures alike, providing specialized expertise in custom chemistries, unique cell geometries, and complete battery pack design. Next slide. Through CEI's Technical Assistance Program, companies can access a range of energy storage development services. Our team supports cell-level prototyping, chemistry development, and comprehensive testing and evaluation. We can help develop promising technologies from early concepts into functional prototypes and pilot production runs. We also assist with battery pack development and battery management system integration. Next slide. CEI's facilities and experienced engineering team allow companies to progress from R&D to pilot scale manufacturing as they prepare for commercialization. Slide. Keep going. Companies can engage with CEI at virtually any stage, from early design consultation to prototyping and pilot production. For example, we worked with Absolute Power, a power equipment supplier for the film industry, supporting them from early R&D through battery certification testing, preparing their system for commercialization. Companies interested in working with CEI can begin with an initial consultation to discuss technology and development goals. From there, our team will work with you to define the project scope and plan. To learn more, visit our website or contact our team directly.
And that does it for our slideshow. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you all so much. Okay, and with that, we are going to move into our Q&A portion. And I will say you can ask us questions about the technical assistance program, but feel free to also ask the service providers any questions you may have as well.
And you can put them in the chat if for some reason you can't come off mute, but I would ask that if you are interested in asking a question, please raise your hand so that we can ask people to come off mute in order. Looks like Benjamin has a question.
Hello. I had a question about the service provider in question. I understand that they need to be in the supply chain database, but do we need a letter of intent from a specific individual provider that's in the database, or can we just say these are a couple of service providers that we have in mind for this project?
Do you want me to handle that, Tatiana? Do you would like to handle it?
Yeah, I can answer and then feel free to add on to that. So yes, we do require you to have a letter of intent from a service provider, if I'm correct. However, if you are unsure, feel free to reach out to them and see which ones. If you're interested in more than one, that's also a possibility. In previous rounds, we've had awardees use more than one service provider.
And I would say too, the service providers do not necessarily need to be in the supply chain database. That is an option. So if you look at page 3 of the RFP, eligible service providers include but are not limited to the ones listed that are our close partners. The prototyping and testing facilities at 2 or 4 years college or university located in New York State, including centers of excellence and centers for application or advanced technology, federal laboratory facilities, for-profit testing or certification service providers, and or research and development prototyping facilities on a fee-for-service basis. I'm literally reading from the RFP. And then additional service providers can be found in the new Energy New York Supply Chain Database. And just a note, we prefer that the service providers be in New York State, so that'll be a preference given, but it is not a requirement. But yes, in regards to getting a letter of support, the idea is that we do not want you submitting an application saying you're going to work with a service provider and the service provider have no concept of the application and no concept of the project. So that is the point of the service provider letter. Hopefully that answers the question.
It does, thank you.
Great. Ellie?
Yes, and this is a perfect segue because I was actually looking at page 3 of the eligible service providers. I believe that this technical assistance program is around energy storage. Is that correct? Okay, and energy storage comes in many forms. Everything presented thus far has been focused on batteries. Micro AeroPower is a leading innovator in thermal energy storage. So our needs for service providers are very different than batteries. There is a group that could be very helpful to us. And I just wondered, would it be worth a sidebar conversation with somebody on your team before we go through the trouble of approaching them and getting letters, etc.? And what's the best way to do that, to sort of float the question?
Emily, I'll let you answer that question, actually.
Okay, I was like, that was true. Who's going to take it first? Ellie, good question. I think that absolutely having a sidebar conversation with Tatiana about this is fine. That being said, we have had other companies in the past apply that are not necessarily battery related, but are clean energy storage related. And I think that just making sure that we're meeting all the requirements for the application and making sure you're hitting all the marks so that when this comes to the volunteer panel that is analyzing the applications, they're reading it and it can be kind of comparable and competitive to the other applications. So I think having a sidebar conversation would be
beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
think we have a question in the chat. Let me see. Yes, so Mildred asked if they can work with, for example, custom electronics for self-fabrication and testing, and then get certifications done from RIT, Battery Development Center. So to answer your question, yes, you are able to work with multiple service providers as long as both service providers have the capacity to essentially support you throughout the length of the project.
Yep, and I'll chime in as well. I will say that we've had other applicants in the past use multiple service providers. The one obstacle that can present is because there are no extensions given in this round. That is a hard rule because our funding ends at the end of this year. You need to be able to complete all of that work in 6 months. So the panel will be paying very, very close attention to the proposed timeline of the project to make sure that it is feasible and can be done in that period of time. So moving from one service provider to the other can cause some issues. Just keep that in mind. Have a plan in place to be able to, deal with those types of issues that come up. And like I said, we will be analyzing that when we're going over the grants.
Excellent.
Right, looks like Benjamin has another question.
Yes, thank you. I don't want to take up time that other people might have in mind for their questions, but on the December 1st completion deadline, if the company, is that the deadline for all milestones to be completed or the final point after which no further invoices will be accepted?
So the December 2026 deadline is our deadline, actually. That is when our funding concludes. So that's kind of why I mentioned if you can time your project to end preferably before then, with 1 month allocated for invoicing. So let's say you complete your project October or November, and then you leave that month to the end of November to essentially submit invoices, that should be fine. After that December deadline, we can no longer pay invoices because we will not have access to those funds.
Okay, so it's not milestone based, it's just funding based.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I will say as well, with the funding for New Energy New York completing and closing down on December 31st, 2026, any support you need from New Energy New York, whether it's milestone based or financially based, will not be accepted. So hopefully that fully answers the question around that particular issue. We are on a timing deadline with the EDA, so we need to get all of our work done. I mean, you are more than welcome to continue working with service providers and running projects. They will not be funded or supported by New Energy New York after December 31st, 2026, which is why Tatiana is recommending that programs be completed at the latest by December 1st, 2026. Looks like Chris had a question, but I don't know if he dropped.
Hello. I did have a question, but it was answered. Thank you.
Fair enough. Any other questions?
Okay, if nobody has any more questions, we can go ahead and close out. The recording for today's session will be made available to you shortly after. And I will say that if you have not had a chance, please go ahead and check out our New Energy New York Technical Assistance webpage, because there are some videos from other service providers as well with information on the way that they can support you on your project as well. Thank you, Emily. She threw that in the chat. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
And again, any questions, I put Tatiana's email in the chat. Please attend office hours, and from there you can, once you submit your application, you can apply for application verification review meetings. But again, hopefully you found this helpful, and all the information, again, is listed in the RFP. The links are provided, and we hope to see everyone apply in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.